I will start recording now.
Okay, great.
Alrighty. Oh man, that's a lot of rain sounds picking up on Audacity.
Well, hopefully it's just fine. It's just a little bit of nothings. Sweet little
Yeah,
nothings whispered into your ear.
you,
Live. Brush
this is
you
not
from...
a traditional type of podcast.
Live. Wet.
Great.
Yep. Well, this is all going to be cut out, don't worry. Let's go up to the intro. Hello and welcome to I'll Sleep When I'm Done Talking, in which we will not sleep until we hit pause on the podcast. On the podcast? I'm doing that again.
Good
Hello.
idea.
Yep. Hello and welcome to I'll Sleep When I'm Done Talking, in which I'll sleep when you sleep. I'm Connor,
I'm Damo.
and this week's topic is superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
You made that noise so many times in the first episode, especially the
It's
intro. You're just like, mm-hmm.
it's just one of my special noises. I make a lot of little noises.
Like, it almost sounded like the point you had a soundboard. You're just like, mm-hmm,
I could just get a soundboard.
mm-hmm. We wouldn't notice. No, we would.
Yeah, fair.
I would notice.
Yes, you would.
But yes. So today's topic is superheroes because I don't know, I just felt like it. That's kind of
Yeah.
that's kind of. I was thinking about, oh, we should do an episode 2, and then the first thing that came to mind was, superheroes. That would be a good topic. And so like last episode, we have I wrote down a series of questions for us to answer, and the first question is, who was your childhood like superheroes? Like what was the superheroes you grew up with as a little boy, or little demon, or a little girl, or in the factory, I guess. I don't know why I'm sticking to this robot stick. I don't know. I was
It's just
rolling.
like
I was
it's just
realistic.
like in Futurama, how Bender was made.
Yeah, I guess, but I mean, like when I was re-listening to the first episode, I listened to myself like, I'm gonna roll my eyes. This is a weird bit, I guess. I don't know what this is. I guess I thought I was funny.
You're funny.
This is also a weird bit. I might anyway. Everyone has like a little experience from when they were a kid. I'm sorry, future me, who's doing a lot of editing or not doing any editing at all, and has just left this all in. I wouldn't be surprised either way. It's kind of the vibe of this podcast, though. It's a little bit of a mess, but it's meant to be just a comforting, nice little chat. But yeah,
Yes.
uh, because you went first last time, Damo, I think I'll go first this time.
Yes.
So the first question that we talked about was like, well, what's your childhood superhero? What's the superheroes you grew up with? And like, obviously, for me, Spider-Man. That's a very easy example to pick from.
Hmm.
I've got a video on it. I'm a big fan of the Spider-Man movies. It's a good and like the TV show I saw. It's relatively a good time. There's not everything perfect, but I quite like it. And the reason I know Spider-Man was from the Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies, in particular the first two. Like, well, I mean that's what was out at the time, but like that's kind of how I knew Spider-Man. I grew up with Spider-Man, and I really like Spider-Man. I don't think there's much else for me to say about Spider-Man. Like, mm, I'm like, cool. I like him. I like him a lot.
Fair.
Yeah, and that like because one of the things that because the second hero I have here is obviously Batman, but unlike Spider-Man, in which I was like, well, I know I knew that where I got the idea of Spider-Man from. That would have been through the movies. Batman, I have no idea. How did I know what Batman was? It's weird
I
that
don't
like people are
like.
just taught things like, oh, this is what Batman is, and kids are like, okay, where did I learn that?
I think it's just so like deeply embedded into our culture that we just
From
knew right
where?
away.
Where?
Yeah.
My kind of reasoning is, well, I'm not too sure, but I know I have relatively fond memories of two Batman shows. I don't think I ever watched any of the live action movies except for when I was, I think, 11. The first one I saw was Batman and Robin, which I
Hmm.
didn't particularly enjoy as an 11-year-old. But
I don't think a lot of people enjoyed that movie, honestly.
fair, like, yeah, it did pretty poorly at the box office, and not many people like, oh, this is nostalgic for me. They're just like, this was awful. You're not getting a prequels type thing of like, oh, actually, there's some really good elements, or like, I grew up with this. So you get like a, yeah, no, Batman and Robin wasn't very good. um, no, but the Batman animated series, not Batman the animated series, but the Batman, like that series, I kind of grew up with a little bit. At least that's where my concept of Clayface came from. I know that. And then Batman Brave and the Bold, which I quite like. Again, that was the older half. I say that, but I'm 20. Like when I say grown up, I mean up till about like 12, and I'm like, and
Yeah,
then there's my teen years. But like
but that's a different type of growing up.
that is a different type of growing up, and when we're aiming at childhood, we're looking at a lot. We're looking at probably the closer to like that 10 to like 12 below type of age and era. And one of the shows that came out. Did you watch any much Batman or
No, there was nothing Batman related like in my childhood at all. Actually,
Fair?
I just
Um,
knew who he was.
yeah, no, that's fair. But like Batman Brave and the Bold, which is a show that's not perfect, but I think it really hits like home as to what like it opened up the DC universe. It was like a love letter to like the Silver Age of comics.
Hmm.
And that was really interesting, and I think it's kind of a cool approach to take a type like a kids Batman series, and because of that, I now have like other heroes that I've was introduced through that show, and are now big like relative. I'm a fan of this character. The number one example being Plastic Man. He's great. He's funny. I,
Hmm.
I haven't gone back to watch Batman Brave and the Bold yet. I'll get around to it, but yeah. So um, I want to let you talk for a little bit. I have two more, but I can't just be talking for like 7 minutes, just me. So you say a couple of your childhood ones.
Yeah, I mean, I guess technically, in a way, I grew up with a bit of Spider-Man stuff,
Hmm.
but not a lot. Like I saw little bits and pieces of the Sam Raimi, I think Sam Raimi Spider-Man movies when I was a kid, but I don't remember a thing from them. And then I'm pretty sure we had like a Lego set of Spider-Man and Doctor Octopus somewhere around the house, but like apart from that and like pop culture references in general, that's all I had in terms of Spider-Man.
That's fair.
Yeah. But yeah, my technically my childhood superhero was Megamind of all characters, which is a movie that just is a whole parody of the superhero genre.
It's also like it's like I'm like yeah, I guess it is a parody. Huh.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, it's a thing where I'm like, oh yeah,
The start of the movie is a whole parody of Superman.
it's not just a whole parody of Superman. It's just the whole.
It's just one for one. Like, yeah, this is Superman's
Oh
origin
wait, no,
story.
yeah, no, I forgot about that. I was thinking about the opening fight, being like, is it really? Like, no, no, the whole origin story. Yeah, that is just.
Yeah.
It's been
Hmm.
a while since I've seen the movie. I should go watch it again at some point. I do
I
intend
also
to.
need to watch it again at some point.
We should watch it together.
Ah, we
We
should.
should. Oh my god! And you, the audience, you can come along as well.
Yeah.
We'll all tuck in on either like my couch. I don't think it'll all fit. No, there's you, me, and editing me, and the audience member watching this. Yes, audience. If you decide to watch it with us, you'll be all conjoined into one person.
Hmm.
I hope this is a comforting podcast for people to listen to at night.
No, just wait for people to say like, "This is my uncomfort podcast,"
I just get so uncomfortable listening to it.
but I can't stop.
I like that because I imagine there's two different types of people. There's one person who gets like angry and uncomfortable. One person like, oh, okay, like when you're just, like sitting, you're trying to like sit comfortably, and you're like, is this not exactly working? Like that's what they're feeling at the podcast. We're in a chat like,
Mm.
okay, is this quite right? No, it's not quite right. Okay, what about this? Hmm. Um, but yeah, no. So Megamind was your main exposure to superhero genres?
Yeah, mainly because I'm a DreamWorks kid. I grew up almost entirely with DreamWorks movies.
Hmm.
Like I watched maybe how many Disney movies did I watch? I think I watched like maybe four and a half until I turned a teenager. Because all of the other ones were just DreamWorks all around. And
No,
Megamind was one of my favorites.
yeah, look, that's fair. I probably watched maybe a little bit more Disney than you did, but for me it was Pixar.
Hmm.
I watched
Ah,
I
yeah.
watched DreamWorks a lot, quite a lot as well. I'm a big fan of Flushed Away, but uh, what a good reference for me. Good job, me. Thanks, me. High five. Yeah,
Nice job. My
yeah.
exposure to that movie was just the same ad I would see at the start of my DVDs all the time. And I kept thinking, maybe I should get this movie. And then I never did.
No, I have it, so we could. I have it on
Ooh.
DVD.
Ah, lovely.
Maybe you and me and the audience can come and watch Flushed Away. Oh man. Do you have any other heroes or like?
um, no, because the rest of like the proper exposure to superhero stuff that didn't happen until I was a teenager.
Hmm. Because yeah, I was thinking about it. Because I was like, sure. Because I only wrote down four. The other two being like The Incredibles and Ben 10.
Oh yeah, I guess yeah, The Incredibles does count. Yeah.
Like it's not even a
Hmm.
you like Megamind's like a parody of him. Like Incredibles just is a superhero movie.
It,
like
it just is.
I have met the argument the same thing as Megamind. It just is a superhero movie. It just has like they both have their own types of parodies and their elements to it. But
Mm.
like like The Incredibles is kind of a like I say it's like kind of a play on the Fantastic Four. It's not, but like the whole anyway.
Yeah,
Part of
I
it's
watched
like
The Incredibles like I don't remember when, some time ago, pretty recently. My jaw was just on the floor the whole time because I hadn't watched it in years, and it never hit me just like how mature of a movie it
it's an
was
incredibly
until
dark
then.
movie.
It's really dark,
Yeah, no,
but
it's
I love it so much. It's actually
mm,
one of my favorite Pixar movies now.
yeah. I don't like. I think mine. I think for me, it will still because I'm slowly cataloging all the Pixar movies as I go along to rank them for
Ah,
just
yes.
for myself. I like to rank things for me, but
Hmm.
I feel like it will still be in my top 10. The Incredibles.
Hmm.
And it's already not in the top five, I think, but like I reckon it will be in the top 10 relatively. It won't budge too far from that because I quite like the first one. I don't like The Incredibles as much as everyone else does. I really like it. I think it's a great
Yeah,
movie, but a lot of people love it way more than I do. um,
indeed. I'm pretty sure I remember reading a letterboxd review from you.
yeah, me especially being like, I love it, but it's not my favorite.
Yeah, just
Um,
understandable.
yeah, what was it? Yeah, no, but like I realized I never grew up with that much superheroes stuff when I was a kid. Like my
Hmm.
big thing when I was a kid was adventure movies. Like your Indiana Jones, Tintin's a bit later on, but
Ah,
like your Indiana Jones, your I guess Tomb Raider. I did watch those when I was a kid. The movies. I'm trying to think of other adventure movies, but
there were
I
Tomb Raider movies?
there's two sets of them. There's the Tomb Raider movies from like the early 2000s starring Angelina Jolie, and there's the one from 2018 which it follows the canon of like the remake series.
I've literally never heard of that before. And I was a huge Tomb Raider fan as a kid.
You uncultured swine! What are you looking at, you hockey puck?
I'm so down with culture.
Man, like every you say, we get to have a live reaction of me just being like, "What the fuck, Damo?"
Yeah.
like
I've let you have that reaction a lot.
I don't have that, I don't have like that, like I just, I'm not mad. I'm not even. I'm just like, I don't expect people to know about Tomb Raider movies, but for some
It's just
reason,
a gut reaction.
but I guess because you explicit, you're a fan of the Tomb Raider franchise. It's like, how have you at least not come across these before? Like, I,
Dude.
The
I
reason I
know.
knew about them was because my dad owned the DVDs and was a big fan of the movies. Because we
Let me
both
look up the Angelina Jolie one.
just look up Tomb Raider movies and it will come up. It'll be like there was three movies, two of the original ones from the 2000s and one's like the 2018 one, which was also really good. But yeah, no, those are the types of movies I kind of grew up with. Was like those very much like adventure type movies where they go on like a quest and they grab the idol and they go and have to do things. And I'm like, no, this is good.
Hmm. Okay, I do remember seeing like the poster for the latest one. Haven't seen the actual movie. The
Hmm.
others though, I've never heard of them, never seen them in my life.
This is crazy. I just like not crazy in the again, it's a thing of like I don't expect people to know movies, but for some reason just the lack of movies you've seen just kind of stuns me.
Yeah, I don't know what to tell you, man. I just grew up watching whatever we had on DVD.
Yeah, so did I.
Yeah, and you definitely had way more DVDs than I had.
Because I still do. No one can stop me.
We just always like went to a Video Easy to get our DVDs.
I did that too. Well, mine was a Blockbuster, but you know, like that's what I did. I went to Blockbuster. I just found movies that were interesting, and I watched them. They would just be random stuff. I have vague bits of memories of shows and stuff that haunt me to this day, but I'm like, I don't have no idea what it is. Um, Genuinely, I
Maybe
think
I just didn't go to Video Easy or Blockbuster as much as you
I
did.
went like every week.
Oh, well, definitely not then. Jesus Christ. We went there like maybe once a month, like at least.
Like, look at this. Like, you've just floored me. Anyway, everyone remember to hydrate. I need a drink. This is
Hey, I could say the same thing about you with video games.
yeah,
Hmm.
but also as much as I play video games, I'm not very a video gamey type person. As I
Mm.
realized when I've been living with two roommates who play a lot of video games, but games that I can't comprehend why anyone would want to play them.
Like what?
Elden Ring.
I do need to get around to playing
I'm
Elden
like,
Ring.
well, like, but like, so I
But
was
Elden Ring is a very specific type of game. Like that's a Souls game.
Corey was playing Horizon Zero Dawn. I'm like, I kind of get it, but also this sounds like this game would kill me.
How so?
It's too much.
Too much.
It's
Too
too
much.
much.
What do you mean too
I
much?
don't know. It's too big. It's too much. Which is
Oh,
funny
you
because my favorite game is Minecraft.
okay? So you don't like open world games except for Minecraft.
No, I liked Breath of the Wild.
That's a different type of open world game.
I like, yeah, so that happened, and then but like my favorite games, right, is Minecraft, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Pac-Man. Those are my
The
three
very
favorite
youth
games.
titles.
Yeah. Um, but also the thing of like, oh, this is not about games. We shouldn't anyway. No, but it's fine. We'll just talk about it. But like, yeah, my game. I just I'm not I'm not like I I don't know. I play games differently. I play them weirder. Sometimes I play them to I don't know. It's bizarre. I'm not. Well, it's because I'm not like clever or I don't play games the way. Again, I'm bad at games. We know this. I don't know. It's just watching them play games, and I'm like, why would you even want to? Corey was playing a mobile game off his PS5 because it
Wait,
was like
really?
free with the. It was on the PS5 store that it was imported from mobile to console. And because of like a couple things, he just leveled up all his characters to like level 200 and was just flooring the game. I'm like, this is because he has PlayStation Plus. He got a bunch of stuff with that, and also it's the sixth anniversary of the game, so he got a bunch of stuff with that. Just able to not even pay to win, but like just floor the game. But the games I'm sitting here with, I'm like, I don't know, like, hmm. I just play whatever games I think are good, but I don't quite understand a lot of games that are quite popular sometimes. I'm like, I mean, I guess I get it, but also this is too much for me. Anyway,
You just digest games like in your own special way.
Yeah. Like I'm on the lookout for games. Like I'm back on eBay looking at GameCube games again. You know,
Hmm.
my next pay I might end up getting the Sonic Mega Collection
Ah,
because it
nice.
was like $50
Hmm.
for like 7 game. I think it's a Sonic Magic Mega Collection Plus, so like,
Okay.
which is like upwards of 10 to 12 games.
Nice.
Yeah, no, but anyway, back to superheroes because that's the main topic. Is we wanted to talk about
That
superheroes.
is. Mm-hmm.
Although obviously our forte is in video games and movies.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so like again, like we didn't particularly grow up with heroes, but then as we hit our teen years, obviously we got into a lot more about superheroes,
Yep.
as the rest of the world did. You
Yeah.
know, um,
We could talk about like how we got more exposed to it, I guess.
I don't know. I saw the Avengers.
Okay. I can, maybe mine's a bit more interesting.
I was like, yeah, I was like 12. My dad had a copy of the Avengers on his iPad that we plugged into the TV. Um,
That's the same energy as like you plugging your PS4. No, not PS4. Was it your PS4 into your like box TV to
no,
plug in?
we joked about the fact I accidentally bought because I was trying to get an adapter for an RCA cable into HDMI so I could plug in the old in my Wii into the television in the lounge room. But what
Mhm.
instead I bought was a HDMI to RCA adapter so we could plug in the PS5 to a box TV.
The PS5. That's even worse.
Yeah, that's the joke. Play Elden Ring
So
on
you
that
could
son
play
of a
Gravity
bitch.
Falls.
Well, no, to play Gravity Falls, I plugged in my PS2.
Oh.
It was scary because I was like, I hope it's not ruining the disc. Uh,
Hmm.
no, but like, yeah, my story of getting into the superheroes is kind of like it just kind of happened. Like, I quite enjoyed the Avengers, and then I just watched other movies, and then I think the big one when we started to see every one of them in cinemas was Guardians of the Galaxy. Like
Ah.
that one, I was like, "What are the Guardians of the Galaxy? I gotta find out this information. I'm gonna go to what was it called? Like Screen? Not what was the channel that was so popular? They did like the honest reviews, honest trailers, and other
Uh.
content. I cannot remember the name.
Green
It was
Junkies.
Screen Junkies. Yeah, back when I was watching them and all those other comic book
Hmm.
stuff, I'd kind of hate myself now if I still watched them.
Same.
Um, only one of them I stuck around with, but they still make good content. So I'm like, no, I'm fair. Which is
Hmm.
Mr. Sunday Movies and his Weekly Planet podcast. But
Hmm.
yeah, I was like, what's the Guardians of the Galaxy? And then my dad was like, oh, this actually looks pretty fun. Then we all went and saw it at the cinema, and then from then on, I've seen I think every Marvel movie in cinema. Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
But what's your superhero story?
It's. I mean, I guess it's kind of like in two parts because the first Marvel character I got like proper exposure from, apart from Spider-Man, was Deadpool.
What a
So
nerd!
it was like right when the Deadpool hype train was like just starting, but it was before the movies came out, obviously. It was around the time when the game came out. I watched
Um,
playthroughs of the game, but I'm pretty sure I knew about it beforehand as well. I don't know how I found out
I
about
have
it.
the game.
Jealous.
Yeah, because
I'm
good luck getting any copies now because of the whole Marvel Disney buyout thing and a couple other reasons. You just can't get the
yeah.
no. It's maybe the Fox buy. I don't know. You can't get the game anymore.
Yeah, Marvel's just weird with games a lot
Yeah.
of the times. But yeah, like I really got into Deadpool, and then I was really excited when the movie came out. So then I saw that, and I'm pretty sure that was also the same year as Captain America: The Winter Soldier came out. So my friends were like, "Hey, let's go see No, wait, not Winter Soldier, Civil War."
It
That's what it
was the
was.
one of Civil War. I was like, it's not Winter Soldier. It didn't come out
Yeah,
2014.
yeah,
It came out
2016.
2016 Valentine's Day.
That's right. It did come out on Valentine's Day.
Sure did.
How fitting.
That was part of the
Yeah.
marketing campaign.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, my friends just like basically I don't want to say dragged me along. Like I went willingly with them to see it. Despite having never seen a single MCU movie ever, Civil War was my first movie, and I really enjoyed it, actually. And then, I don't know what, I think either before that or after Civil War, they also took me to see Batman vs. Superman, and I nearly fell asleep. So I have a lot of biases when it comes to the two cinematic franchises, I must say.
Meanwhile, cut to me in the cinema watching BVS and getting progressively angrier as the film went on. To which, when the credits rolled, I stood up and I like the expression on my face is the same expression that Ben Affleck's Batman looks at the Batsuit with, which is like a oh yeah. I didn't like that
Oh
movie.
man. I didn't like it either, but I was just mainly bored. I was like, when is this gonna be over? It's going on for so long. But then Civil War, I was like, I still had no idea what was going on, but I was having a pretty good time
Mm.
actually. Because guess what? So, hot take, Civil War is actually a really good movie.
What? No.
No way.
I think yeah, in my old ranking, because at some point I watched all the Marvel movies and built up I think to Infinity War, and I
Hmm.
think I can have like a list of like my tier list of like what my favorite movies were, and I think I stopped it around after Far From Home came out. I was like, that's my list. So
Right.
I'll do a new one again whenever I redo it, like that type of
Hmm.
thing. But if you look at that list, Civil War is the second one, and the is like number two best
Hmm.
movie the Marvel did. First one,
Nice.
first Captain America movie. It's my favorite Marvel movie they ever did. Why would you make any more? You made the first one, good enough. I loved it. It was an adventure movie.
You do really like it. The first one is really good. I agree.
Yeah, but I think but it's a little bit like I don't know if it should be my number one, but it is my number one.
It's just got a really different tone from the other Cap movies.
Yeah, it has well, no, it's like it has a sad. No, all of them have a sad ending. Uh,
Yeah, they're all really sad.
and that's what I like me a sad hero. That's why
Hmm.
I said it on my. But Spider-Man is a terribly sad hero.
Oh yeah. Ooh.
Goal. No, but like again, but like
Oh.
yeah, like fair enough. Because I wrote down a list of like my favorite like type of heroes that I have and like over the past couple of years, and like I think like the Marvel movies definitely got me into Captain America, and I think you
Mm.
the same, obviously,
Yes.
as we're both very strong Captain America boys.
Hmm.
Yeah, he's
I
very
have a
good.
shield backpack, and I'm very happy to own it.
I at some point will buy a shield. That's the plan.
Oh yeah.
I have a shield. I have a Captain America shield backpack. I have the body of Captain America before he got the super soldier serum.
Dude, my favorite part about the backpack is that like the shield part of it is just like solid hard plastic,
mm,
and multiple people have come up to me like back when we were at school,
mm.
and they're like, "Oh, what's this?" And then they would hit it, and then they would be surprised to be like, "Oh, ow, that hurts.
Why did they?
That really
Why'd
hurts."
they punch it?
They were like, "Can I hit it?" And I was like, "Sure."
But I have
So
to
I
hold
knew
it
it was
like
going to
this,
happen.
and you put like you put it on so it's like on your arm. You're like, okay, now you can hit it.
Nah, I kept that bad boy on my back.
Hmm. Easy, perfect access, so you could hop on a motorbike and ride away into the sunset.
Oh, dude, that's the ultimate goal, to get a full Captain America cosplay, and I'm also gonna get a motorbike license.
I've seen videos of people doing that, and I'm like, oh, it's so cool.
Same.
It's so cool.
Ah,
I feel like we've sent each other videos like that, and like, oh, this is so cool.
yeah, you've definitely sent me a video of
Mm,
that before.
yeah, but as I was like writing up a list of like the heroes I've started to get into over the years, I realized it's a lot more DC than Marvel. Like
Ah,
don't get me wrong. I'm a big fan of. Again, you can be a fan of both. Who gives a shit? But like,
mm,
it's just nerd nonsense. The comics are bad. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I have the strong opinion that the comic, like, don't get me wrong, there are some great comics, but there are also some terrible ones. So like, it just
Comics are just really hard to
very
get into.
no,
Specifically, Marvel and DC comics are hard to get into.
they're very mediocre.
Mm,
They're again, there are some great stories. I literally just got 2 comic books recently.
Hmm.
The first being Superman Smashes the Klan, which is a Superman
Oh,
story.
that's
Yeah, I've
right.
told you about this one, but I'll tell the
You
audience.
have.
It's a Superman story. It was written like 2019. It takes place in 1946, so it has my favorite Superman outfit, and it's him fighting the KKK. And it's an incredibly real and a bit heavy book in that sense. Like, there's a lot of elements where you're just like, oh, oh,
Hmm.
but it's incredibly good. The art is so pretty. I do recommend it. Um,
Hmm.
I still haven't finished reading it though.
That's most of the comics I own.
Yeah, I have the same thing. And another comic I bought was Doom Patrol, which is another set of heroes I have on my list. Um,
Hmm.
I assume not a lot of people know about Doom Patrol. Um, it's like it's how do I describe? It's like it's the weirdness of comic books. Like it's incredibly weird, like extremely weird. It got a TV show that's how I kind of fell in love with the characters. I mean, obviously, one of my favorite characters in the show probably has to be Brendan Fraser playing Robot Man, which just sounds like the most me thing to like. And then I stay silent.
I totally zoned out for like a moment because I was looking at notifications. I'll be honest.
God
I wasn't
damn it.
ignoring you. I wasn't ignoring you.
Yeah,
I
but
just
we're
forgot to
recording a
respond.
podcast, Damo. I can't be doing this.
Just pretend I said something like, "Ah,
No,
yes,
no,
cool.
no,
I'll give you sound bite."
no. Oh, you think I'm editing this? This bit's all going in,
Yes,
baby.
you are the editor.
Nah.
Not
Anyway,
anymore, baby.
what I was saying was that, of course, Brendan Fraser plays a character called Robot Man, and of course, that is my favorite character in the show.
Mm-hmm.
That just ticks
Yes.
all my boxes. Um, but it's a bunch of weird characters, and it's a very weird show, and it's a bit horrid, and it's just great. And I keep saying weird, and what I mean by that is the fourth episode involved a cult which had a giant eyeball that would incinerate people that just appeared in the sky, and they had to, and like,
Nice.
how do we fight this? What the fuck?
Hmm.
Um, uh, spoilers for this particular episode. The solution is the antagonist of the first season, who's the narrator, goes back in time, inceptions a person back in time to when they were alive in the 70s, and so they start up a rival cult. So now the eyes have to do a staring contest.
Hmm.
So, yeah, basically the same solution as that one Adventure Time episode, but yeah, so it's a really weird show, and like I really got into it. I still got to finish watching season 2, but I love the show a lot, and I recently just bought the comic book, the first, like the volume one. It was like $12 at like a bookstore, and I'm like, ah, sick! I could buy this, and it's a comic book, and it's written by Gerard Way, which is fun. The guy who,
Huh.
yeah, he writes comic
Wait,
books.
I
Yeah, yeah.
how did I never know that?
Well, yeah, well, because one of his My Chemical Romance albums is based on his original comic book.
Ah,
Like
nice.
it takes place in the world and fits the storyline.
Well, Gerard Way is just—he's such an interesting guy.
Yeah, I don't know too much about him, but I know like he does this, he does this. Yeah, he was just a big fan of Doom Patrol, and then they're like, hey, and DC's like, hey, do you want the chance to write Doom Patrol? And he goes, oh, and so we did, and people were like, yeah, this is the best Doom Patrol run. Um, It has one of my favorite characters in comic books, which is Danny the Street, who is a genderqueer sentient street.
Just like a physical street,
Yeah, and it can
a
teleport
road.
around and change into things. So in the
Good.
comic book I picked up, I was flipping through it. There's a page where it's called. It opens up to Danny Land, which is obviously a play on Disneyland. And I'm like, I don't know what that's about, but that's wild. But yeah, no, Danny the genderqueer street is just one of my favorite comic book characters ever. And I'm
Nice.
like, they seem lovely. um, but yeah, and again, I'll let you talk some more because I'm like, oh man, there's more on my list. Do you have much affinity for DC, even though the movies kind of suck?
Um, I gotta think. I feel like there's definitely some DC characters like in the back of my mind where I'm like, "Ooh, that's pretty interesting," but at the moment I'm just totally blanking.
Hawkman, yes.
Mm.
Red Tornado. Yeah,
Hawkman.
let me just like I was really like I have no idea what any of this is, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I've seen it
I really
a time or
like.
two.
I mean, I watched the Lego Batman movie recently, and that was pretty
Finally,
good.
yeah. No,
Yeah,
that's yeah. I think it's my second favorite Batman movie ever. It's just
it's a pretty good movie.
it's pretty perfect. It's just genuinely amazing.
Mm,
Um, that was great because well, that means you can finally understand references when like someone's like questioning thing, and I'm like, probably worth the Google.
true.
Yeah, it's always fun when you get to watch a movie because then you're like, oh, this is what Connor was saying.
Yeah.
I should watch more of this movie gimmick thing. Yeah, no, movie good.
Yes.
Um, what about like other Marvel characters? Because we know you like Deadpool and Captain America and Spider Man. Well, yeah, we
Yeah,
had this.
I like Spider-Man quite
Yeah,
a lot.
I mean, we did have that whole thing where we made our own Spider Man characters,
Yes.
which I'll probably save for another podcast if I'm honest.
Oh yeah,
We'll get
that's
around to it. It's a
so
lot.
much to get
That
into.
is genuinely maybe end up being a 2-3 hour podcast, depending. I
Yeah.
don't think that will be anytime soon, but yes. But
Mm.
yeah. So like any other Marvel characters that really stick out to you was like, yes, good. I like these.
Yeah. I mean, like I like Iron Man a lot. I really like Tony Stark because he's just really interesting to
Mm.
me
Yeah,
quite a lot.
yeah, he's quite a compelling. I assume the movie counterpart, not the comic book one.
I don't really pay attention to his comic book counterpart.
Yeah.
I've paid it okay. The ones I know the most about are like MCU, of course, Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes, and Avengers Assemble
Mm.
versions of him, because those like they're all pretty similar to each other. And like
Yeah.
I like them quite a lot.
Yeah, that's fair. I still haven't seen Earth Mightiest Heroes. I'll get around to it at some point, but
Hmm.
yeah,
It's very nice.
uh, I've, I'm just
I
like,
shouldn't say it's very nice. It's not like a nice show.
it's like
It's pretty edgy.
I can tell. I've seen the art for it. You know,
Oh yes,
it's so
yes, that
spiky.
nice polygonal art.
Yes, good. No, but
Mm,
like,
yes.
I think I was hearing recently. Yeah, I like the horror things. I was listening to some podcast about whatever, and they're talking about like, oh, at the time when when the Iron Man movie came out, Tony Stark had recently just been replaced, like in the comics, was replaced by the teenage version of himself because the adult version of himself had turned evil, and then they brought back teen versions of him from the past to go and kill his future self. Comics are stupid.
Oh, they are.
Doesn't mean they can be good, but like, oh my god, they're dumb. And that's why Doom Patrol
Mm,
works so well, that leans into comic books are dumb, let's move on.
yeah.
You know, that's you kind of need that type of stuff. Like, okay,
Mm,
again, you can have some great stories. The Superman comic I have, great, but yeah, like I'm a big, I'm still again, I'm a big fan of Batman still.
mm,
Like, and obviously it's because I've been watching more. Like, I don't think Batman comics are for me. Like, I relatively enjoyed year one, but unless, and I'll put this out to the audience, unless someone has like a good recommendation for a Batman comic, like I'm not that into, because some of the big ones I'm like, oh man, Killing Joke couldn't care less. I find it funny that the author's like, I regret writing that one. Uh, that was bad of me to do. And then like I don't know, like Long Halloween kind of seems interesting. Hush, no. Court of Owls, maybe, I guess. I don't know. Like, if you could find me like an interesting storyline that I'm a big fan of Batman the Animated Series. I've been rewatching it recently. Oh, I said rewatching it. I've been actually watching it recently. I started watching it like 2 years ago, and I finally repicked it back up to start watching it again. And I'm having a great time, and they're really good episodes. They're quite dark for a kids show. Speaking of edgy, it's very intense. Um,
mm.
like I've explained, I've described plots of episodes to you, right? Of Batman the Animated Series.
I feel like you have. I do plan to getting around to actually watching it though.
Yeah, yeah, of course. Like there's just
Hmm.
episodes you're like, wow, like there's like the Two Face episode, like the Two Face two part or whatever. The thing that makes him go Two Face is like someone shoots like a vat of acid and it just explodes.
Ah.
That visceral feel of this man flying up in the air and collapsing, like kind of like how like kind of a bit like live actiony. It's just it's awful to watch and it's so good. Like yes, I'm having a bad time.
Uh,
No, but also it's just a really good thing and um like even my dad would like look in and be like, this is wild, and I'm like, yeah, it's good. Um, but no, yeah, I'm a big fan of certain interpretations of Batman. I saw the new Batman movie. I quite liked it. Lego Batman is perfect, but
hmm.
the Batman animated series might be my favorite, which is good because it leads into the DC animated universe of shows, which I've slowly been collecting. I have 3 of the shows, and I'll keep going when they keep releasing more Blu-rays. So that's very exciting. But yeah. Honorable mentions like The Flash and Shazam. I like the Shazam movie. I liked the Flash show, but then that got bad. I like but that show
Hmm.
did make me fall in love with the character of the Flash. So I am intrigued to explore that character when I get to him in the animated series.
Hmm.
But another big favorite of mine. I know this episode's just a lot of me talking, and I apologize. Uh, I just have a lot to say.
Yes, you do.
Um, is John Constantine. He's less of a superhero. He's more just like like an exterminator for like demons, kind of. You actually might like Constantine a bit. I gotta get a copy of the TV show. Um, which is the only TV show that tied into like the CW universe that didn't get bad because it was cancelled after the first season.
Oh.
So I just have I have to get a copy of the DVD, but once I do, I can finally watch the show again because I love it so much.
Hmm.
It's just a guy who's just like has a bit of a shit one and has to deal with demons and stuff. It's just a
Hmm.
good. I like it. Yeah, that's not much to say. I'm like no, and Keanu Reeves. They did a movie of Constantine with Keanu Reeves in like 2005. It's also good. Like
Hmm.
it's not. I'm like this isn't exactly the character I like as much because obviously it's a little bit different because 2005 was a different era for making comic book movies. But I'm still like, no, this is still really good. And if they made a sequel, I would be like, cool. Um, no, yeah, that's kind of my stuff. Do you have any like other superheroes you want to mention before we get into the last question?
um, I'm not quite sure. I like Daredevil quite a bit. I like the
Yeah,
MCU Daredevil. He's good.
I,
I
it's
don't think
weird.
I watched the whole show, but
I only saw season 1.
I think I saw like season one and most of season two.
I got
Was I?
about 4 episodes into season 2 and I just stopped.
That's fair. Honestly, I got burnt out on the Marvel Netflix shows really quickly.
I watched Defenders and
Yeah, I
like
didn't get up to Defenders.
I neither did I. I just watched it because I just
Mm,
wanted to watch more Daredevil. That wasn't season 2.
that's fair.
Not even then. I think I watched season 2 after the Defenders. Like it doesn't matter. I didn't care as much. I watched the first episode of Luke Cage, kind of like that one. Never watched Iron Fist or Jessica Jones, though I was intrigued to watch Jessica Jones because it did have David Tennant, and I'm still a little bit intrigued. But
Oh yeah.
I'm I'm like, I'll maybe get around to it eventually. I don't know.
I did watch Jessica Jones. I quite enjoyed it a
Mm,
bit.
yeah, no, fair enough. I also quite
Yeah.
like Daredevil. Daredevil, is it was Daredevil and Iron Man were the comics I'd rent from the library. Um, I don't know if you had that experience.
I didn't know they had comics at the
Oh,
library.
yeah, like this is like it's just like the like I was about to like like the library up the road, like at the shopping center up the road from where I am. Yeah, you get like comics from there.
Okay.
Like even
Huh.
anywhere. Like I got comics from like the local library van that would rock up at a
Ah.
suburb. Yeah, that's where I read like the Superior Spider-Man comics.
Oh,
Um,
nice.
you know,
Oh, actually, like I did just remember, since you mentioned Spider-Man, my most exposure to Spider-Man was the Ultimate Spider-Man video game that I played on the Xbox, which also then exposed me to Venom, who is one of my favorite Marvel characters at the moment, especially with the movies.
it's
The
neat.
movies quite a lot. I really enjoy the
Yeah,
movie.
no, the movies are great. Like, come on, like they're just good.
Yeah.
First one is most. I think the second one's a lot better than the first one, but I still. But you
Hmm.
guys, because we saw the second one together, you guys are like best film ever. Like you really liked the movie. I think Eric liked it a lot more. But that, in fairness, that makes sense. We're like, no, this is way more of a you movie than it is an us movie, but we still had a really good time.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, they're good movies.
Yeah, I just like to play as Venom a lot in the video game, just so I could. I'm pretty sure I told you about this before, just so I could like
I think we did.
stand around the civilians and intimidate them for like 5 minutes straight until I eventually just eat them all.
I think I think we did discuss this last episode.
We probably
I think
did.
it again. We these episodes are recorded a while apart because
Oh
stuff
yeah,
happens in life, and also we're
yeah.
not in
Our
that much of
schedules
a
aren't
rush.
very consistent.
No,
Mm-mm.
no, but yeah, like but speaking of like games, like I loved playing Spider-Man in the Disney Infinity 2.0. Like I would
Oh yeah.
assemble a world for Spider-Man how to swing around. And this
Hmm.
is genuinely me just like this. You might be like, oh, like when the game came out, like, well, I mean, I guess, but realistically, I bought it for the PS4 because I was waiting for Spider-Man PS4 to came out, so I played Disney Infinity instead and just swung around as Spider-Man. And then I got to play the
Fair.
PS4 game, which I loved, and I bought Miles Morales, but I still haven't played it
Hmm.
because again, time is a thing I do not have as much of.
Yeah.
But like, I'm still in the middle of playing Pokemon.
Hmm.
Oh no, but
Yeah. I haven't played a Pokemon game in a
we
while.
doesn't matter. We're not talking about it.
That's true.
But so yeah, should we kind of go into like the last question of it?
Yeah, I think we should.
So like the last question I kind of had was like the like what are the like what do these superheroes mean to you? And that's a very heavy question. Like
It's all a good question.
what do they mean to you? Like what are they? But that's just because I have a very personal connection to the superheroes I like.
Hmm.
Like Captain
Yeah, so do I.
America, really like I really appreciate it. And like obviously a skinny kid as I am, like Captain America and like the Superman. Like I really liked the original 1975 Superman movie. There's a lot of great moments in it, and as one of the things I think I'm starting to get, I'm getting more and more into Superman, which I eventually will when I hit the Superman animated series. But again, Captain America
Hmm.
and Superman have like a very similar thing of like they fight for like a set code and it does not move.
Hmm.
Like obviously other characters have that, but like they're so maybe Superman's a bad example. I think it like depends on the canon for Superman because again you have like the storylines like Injustice. I think Captain America's a better example. Again, like you look at the movies, like it's the whole quote of like and even the Civil War comic book of like the um you dig your like a tree, you dig your heels into the ground and you say no, you move. That
Hmm.
like
Yeah.
that's a very powerful thing, and it's one of the things I do really like about comic books is that they can have a lot of and it's like they can have a lot of powerful messaging or very strong things about them.
Yeah.
Like yeah, like again, Captain America plays his character who goes for truth and justice and safety and protection and tries to be the best man he can. Like it's the quote from the first movie when it's like and it's yeah like what's it called as like like where when the scientist calls him a good man.
Oh yeah.
Like it's a very important scene, and I think like that's one of the reasons why I was sold on this character. Of like
Mm,
this is a very, he's just a person doing his best. He is the peak of humanity, and he's just
mm.
doing what he can.
Yeah, he's just a good guy. Yeah, the first movie, like I remember, because of course I started off the MCU really weird, but when I eventually got around to watching First Avenger, that scene like really sold me on Cap. Like,
Mm.
oh, he's a really good guy. I like this dude quite a
Yeah,
lot.
yeah. Like like especially like that line like when he's like that was a sentence when he's like, why am I like
Which scene are you thinking of?
when the German scientist is like, why do you want to join the army? And he's like,
Yeah,
I don't like bullies.
yeah.
And that's his
It's like,
whole
do you want
reasoning.
to go out and kill Nazis? Like, no, I just don't like
I
bullies.
don't want to kill anyone. I like it hits. I love this character so much,
He's
genuinely.
so good.
Like, again, some of the Batman, I'm like, I don't know what to even bother with comics for this character. Like, there'll be some good ones I would like to read, but Captain America in the comics, I'm like, you seem like a good character, but I don't even know where to even begin.
Yeah,
Goodness, but the
I have like
movies, yeah, man.
I have a bit of one Captain America series. It's a Dimension Z,
Mm,
but I can't get the rest of them in physical form because they ran out of printed versions. So I've got most of it. I've got almost all of it, but I'm just missing a couple in physical form,
damn.
which annoys me so much.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
get that because I bought I bought like I started the new run of Spider-Man, like the Nick Spencer run when that came out. I
oh
bought the
yeah.
first like 6 issues in like a little graphic book. I was like, great. Where do I go from here? Where do I get the next one? But it got so like the next one had either issues 5 to 7 or 6 to 13, and I'm like, but I already have 5 and 6. There's like 6 different versions. There's like different like ways to. If someone could just send me a link that like gives you, here's the exact books I need to buy in the order I need so I can get the entire story of the Nick Spencer Spider-Man run. Let me know, because I don't know where to start because there's like 4 different
Mm,
versions of every one. And I'm like, why?
yeah.
Just I want to continue the story because it was a good story and I like the art. I think it's great and I want to continue to see where it goes from here. Um, but yeah, I just never will because I don't know where to continue. Um,
Uh,
at some point I will, but
yeah. I'm sure someone's like maybe made some sort of guide for it.
probably yeah, but like a purchasing guide for an Australian buyer.
Hmm.
Maybe maybe I have to go to a comic shop and just ask. But I don't know any comic
Yeah,
book
maybe.
shops. I don't
Yeah,
know
like
any.
there's a couple in the city.
That's the city.
Yeah.
I don't go to the city.
Let me take you to the city.
Again, I just feel like I could get dragged. Like it's just a funny image
You're
of just
going to
like
get
I'm at
dragged
home
everywhere.
and I just yeah look I don't mind.
You're just happy to be included.
I just like that my friends want to take me places. I just like that they want to hang out with me.
It's a very dog-like energy of like I'm not sure what's going on, but I like the attention.
But it's also on the same method of a cat, so I'm dragged along. I'm not willingly going along. I am
True.
dragged through the city. Like when you put like a leash on a cat and the cat just lays down.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, like I find it interesting, like Captain America, like the Marvel heroes. I'm like, yeah, no, I have a real deep connection with them. Or it's like the DC ones. I'm like, I don't know, I like Batman. I have no connection.
Yeah.
I think his stories are cool. Doom Patrol, it's a bit fucked and weird. I think it's neat. Constantine, I just like he's cool. Flash, nothing. Shazam, nothing. Superman, maybe, but it depends on the comic, I guess. But yeah, but the Marvel heroes, I'm like, I have a very strong connection to you. Again, like Spider-Man is still my number one hero and means oh so much.
Oh yes.
And I'm not the only one. There's so many people. It's Spider-Man.
Hmm.
But there's a video I'm writing at the moment which we'll discuss. Or it's out at the moment. I doubt it. I doubt by the
Who
time this
knows?
comes out that the video's out as well. I hope it's out at some point this year. But like, um, I'm just a big fan of Spider-Man. They do a lot, and I love them so much. They're good. I'm trying to
Hmm.
not say too much on like my personal things. I don't know. I again similar to like the Captain America, like standing for your beliefs and just being an
Hmm.
overall good person. Spider-Man's battle with responsibility and trying his best. It's not always working. Is
Yeah.
again? It's just good, and I'll talk about Spider-Man so much on this channel.
Oh
Trust me,
yes. Hmm.
it will happen. But yeah. So, Damo, what about you?
Yeah. I mean, I could echo a lot of the things you said about Captain America.
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. I do relate to him quite a lot, especially like like the lines you mentioned before. Like, oh, whoops, ignore that. Um, but yeah, I guess also without getting too like deep and personal, I kind of relate to his like really like fish out of water scenario, especially in the MCU. So far forward, like into the future, like 70 years into the future, and he just doesn't feel like he fits in at all. And
Hmm.
I relate to that quite a lot, just in a very vague sense. um,
When I relate to a character the same way like that, for me it's Vision.
Vision.
A little bit, yeah.
Well, yeah, Vision makes sense for you though.
Don't get me wrong. I also relate to this again. A similar thing with Captain America. Like, maybe not that exact thing, obviously, because I think I relate to other things a bit stronger in the way of Captain America.
Hmm.
But like, no, I'm like, yeah, no, I kind of get it. But I was thinking about, it, I was like, what MCU character I have with that? I'm like, how about Vision? Kind of like, you know, he's kind of there. He says some odd things, and you're like, oh, Vision.
Oh, Vision.
I like your style. It's
Yeah,
sweaters.
yeah. I quite like MCU Vision quite a lot.
Hmm.
Yes, he's got a nice dress sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
But yeah, also Megamind, like also kind of a fish out of water situation. But I really related to his scenes where early in the movie where he's just in school and like people aren't really that interested in him. Like he's trying to fit in, but nothing's really working.
yeah,
I mm.
this is very personal for you, as you had the same thing as when you were a kid because you were also blue. Uh,
Yeah, it's just like bright, 100% saturated blue.
hmm.
Yeah, very strange. But like,
It's what happens to demons when they come straight out of hell.
yeah, we take some time to adjust.
Hmm.
Then yeah, hmm, it's weird. I'm not really sure like what specifically to say. I just find them both like really, really relatable in their situations. I guess
Yeah, no,
I
that's
li- I like how Megamind shows that you know like as long as you show you're able to show that you can change for the better, like you can do that, and
hmm.
yeah,
Yeah, no,
yeah.
again,
That's
again,
that's a
this,
very oversimplified version of the movie's message.
and that's the movie audience. What did you think of it? A good, yeah, a good time. No, but like, yeah, I get it. Like this question was a bit of like a bit of a bigger question, and I'm like, this is gonna
Mm,
be an experiment to see if this works. Because again, I thought I was gonna get a lot more into because like I was like Spider-Man means a lot to me, but I'm
mm,
like I don't know what to say right now off the cuff. It's one of those things I wrote in a
same.
script
Mm,
for a video, and I'm like, okay, so yeah, but like it is a thing where like these fictional characters, like, we very much look at them and be like, I like you a lot.
mm,
You're very good. I appreciate you so much.
mm,
And that is a kind of a power from comics you don't always get with a lot of media. Obviously, some people
mm,
get that with movies, but like comic book characters are so different, I guess, in this
mm.
category.
Yeah.
But or maybe just superheroes in general. Who's to say? I don't know.
Maybe.
But yeah, I think we might. We're hitting about the hour mark. I think we maybe might wrap up this episode.
Ah, yes. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's a good point to wrap up.
Yeah. So thank you for listening, audience. And now, as we do the classic thing, we say good night, audience. Enjoy your little sleep. And then you say,
Yes.
yes, continue.
Have a good sleep.
Yes, good night. Enjoy your slumber. Sleep
Mm-hmm.
many, many dreams of good times or bad times, but you win in the end. You know, like just a good night. Enjoy. You do this at the same time. It's meant to be like a duo. Damn it.
Am I?
Yeah, no, we both do it at the same. Like we wish the audience good. This is the second episode. You can give us a break. We wish the audience a good night, and then we end the podcast. So we both like. Do we just like? Oh, we just repeat until at some point it ends,
Just like an extremely slow fade out.
or a quick one.
Or a very sharp and abrupt one.
Good day. Yeah, but come on, we gotta. We
Good
still
night.
gotta. We gotta wish. This is a night podcast. They're about to go to bed. We gotta wish them good sleeps and things.
All right, let's wish them good night.
Good night.
Good
Enjoy
night,
your
audience.
sleep. Bye
Yes.
bye. Sleep. Good
Yes.
time. Sleep. You better be
Goodbye.
sleeping. Good
Have a good
night.
sleepy time.
Enjoy your slumber, or else
Have
the
many, many
Sandman's gonna
dreams.
get ya.
Mm.
Mmm.
Mm.
Mmm.
Good night.
And that's the end. And stop recording.